Welcome to Leading in Luxury, the podcast where we dive deep into the strategies and stories shaping the boutique and luxury hospitality industry. I'm your host, Daniel Renna. For those of you just joining us, we are DMR AI Hospitality Solutions, and we specialize in helping the boutique and luxury hospitality industry scale their revenue and profitability by acquiring new clients. We believe in leveraging cutting-edge technology to enhance, not replace, the human element of hospitality. Today, we have a truly distinguished guest, Andy Mossack. Andy is a veteran travel writer, the editor of Trip Reporter, and the co-host of the Travel Talk Radio podcast. With 25 years of experience critiquing and experiencing the world's finest hotels and restaurants, he brings a unique and often unvarnished perspective on what truly defines luxury service. Andy, it's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here, Dan. Thanks.
Well, thank you. You've seen the industry evolve over decades. Can you share with us, from your perspective, as both a travel writer and a secret guest, what are the most significant shifts you've observed in the luxury hospitality landscape, particularly concerning guest expectations and the delivery of service?
Yeah, interesting point, because there's a few. First of all, I think the latest kind of emergence for me is the complexity that hotels have put on their own brands. They seem intent on desperately trying to each kind of corner a sector of the market by supposedly kind of reimagining their brands into separate things for each demographic. So you might get a hipster one now, or you might get something that is concentrating on local produce, or, you know, they're just now, from my take anyway, made the whole market very complex about trying to segregate what guests they get. Now, I'm a realist, and I just think if you're a guest, potential guest, I mean, do you really want to know if that hotel caters for like super trendy or exotic or whatever it is? You know, basically, someone's looking to put their head down in a very nice place, and all they want is good service, good food, nice surroundings, clean, efficient, a beautiful place to stay that perhaps reflects where they're staying in the, you know, which city they're in. So I've spoken to a number of different brands myself, you know, and I said to them, do you really understand the fact that you're making yourself so difficult to understand which hotel you want to pick as a guest? You know, is it really that important for you to identify with so many different tens of variations, you know? And I don't know if you've come across this before, but you know, there's so many like names they come up with, and they try and deck out the hotel in various different guises. At the end of the day, they're still recruiting the same people, the same service levels. You know, I just don't understand why.
No, I hear that, and that's, I mean, and that this shows that they're adapting or trying to figure out what their niche is or who their clients should be. You've highlighted the relentless nature of maintaining high standards and the constant need to adapt. It's clear that the human element, personality, and genuine connection are paramount for you. I mean, that's why you're pointing out this issue. You've been a secret guest for hotels, providing GMs with reports on the customer experience. In your extensive experience, what are the most common yet critical missteps or areas where even high-end hotels fall short in delivering truly exceptional service? And conversely, what are those wow moments that truly elevate a guest stay that you believe are often overlooked?
Well, I can give you two beautiful examples of that. One is that I remember, no names, but I remember having a bit of an argument with the GM, because one of the things a lot of hotels do is they're very proud of for the awards their restaurant gets. What they fail to do is perhaps say, well, if it was 10 years ago, which was the last award that's on the wall, what went wrong, right?
Right.
So for heaven's sake, you know, I mean, why? None of us are interested in what the hotel chef was like 10 years ago. We're interested in today or tomorrow. And I remember bringing this up with a GM who was incredibly annoyed, because he said, "That's ridiculous. You know, I've had nothing but good reports back from the forms I put in the rooms, you know, about the service and about our meal offerings." And I said, well, that's basically because that's fine, but that's, to me, is not a recognized way of understanding your market. Because to me, if I was fed up and I hated the food, I wouldn't even bother filling a form in.
Yeah.
Right. So I wouldn't call that a good idea for making sure that your target people are well cared for. And certainly sticking on out of date awards is a it's a road you don't want to go down. And funnily enough, the first thing I look for in any restaurant is, if they're going to be proud about what they've won or haven't won, how old was it? So I would suggest the first thing anyone should look at when they go and looking at awards of restaurants, and what year was it put in, And the other thing on the converse side of it, I had a fascinating interview with a lady who ran 3 hotels, actually, a fearsome general manager. She was amazing. She really wanted all her staff to understand what it was like to be a guest. And this was a high-end hotels, 3 top hotels in the Emirates. So she said to me, what we do is for their first week, when they arrive, and it doesn't matter if it's a gardener, it's a housekeeper, or someone in senior management, they spend one night as a VIP guest with us. And they then get the opportunity to see what it's like from a guest perspective. Okay.
Over to you.
She was a visionary GM, and her rationale was if none of her workers or her staff understand what it's like as a guest, they can't deliver the service properly. So her amazing theory was put into practice, because she felt that this was the only way they could understand what it was like to be a guest. Clearly, this tactic worked because everybody bought in to this idea,
Wow.
and their turnover was something like 15%. Over the year, which is fantastic for hotel staff. And similarly, what she also did was encourage them to come up with ideas where they felt the guests would appreciate new things. And she put forward this, everybody could enter ideas, and they had a monthly draw. Whoever's ideas got put into practice, they were given some kind of reward. And at the end of the year,
Wow.
all the people that got rewards then went into another draw and won a week's holiday in one of the hotels. You can understand that this type of idea, that it is a bit out there, but on the other hand, it's put into practice unbelievable things. Because in my experience, the hotel industry and the restaurant industry, for that matter, it's incredible that your best customer could be put in front of your lowest paid worker.
So my reaction to what you said was you were talking about how the GM had all of her new recruits become a guest to the hotel, and then they got rewards and they got to spend a week in the hotel, which I think is really cool. And that says a lot about not just the way that people treat each other, but it's also like the future of service, right? You've expressed some skepticism about AI's ability to truly enhance the guest experience, particularly in front of house roles, emphasizing the irreplaceable value of human interaction. From your perspective, where do you see AI realistically fitting into the luxury hospitality ecosystem without compromising that essential human connection? Are there specific back of house or operational areas where AI could truly free up staff to focus more on personalized guest interactions rather than replacing them? Or do you believe its application is inherently limited in this high touch industry?
Wow. Yeah. I think at the moment, I think we're at a point in time where I think we're over expecting the ability of AI, particularly with accuracy in certain areas. If they're focusing on something new like this, to be able to replicate the sort of service and personality that you would have with a human being right now, I think is challenging. It may be great to be able to follow up stuff with AI to say, how was your experience with us? Or if it's a birthday, say happy birthday and we'd love to come and see you, give you 10% discount the next time you're in town. That kind of thing would be AI perfect. I don't have a problem with that. I think the problem I have with perhaps some of the scenarios that we discussed, like when you check in, the staff already know all your likes and dislikes. And I said to you, I think in busy periods, that might be very difficult for them to keep up with. So whether that is possible, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Hilton already you don't even have to check in anymore. For instance, they give you key cards remotely. So you just go straight into your room when you come through the door. You don't have to go up to reception anyway. So they've cut out all of the interaction that you would have by just giving you your key electronically, before you even arrived at the hotel. So I don't know. A lot of my issues would be what people see in a room, for instance. When you design a room, I'm convinced that hotel architects don't actually stay in the rooms that they've actually designed, you know? Now, does AI come into that? Will it be something that involved in the actual, the architecture, the planning? So AI could say, well, actually, I think it's a small room, so putting in a button to make the bathroom disappear, become not see-through,
Right.
would be worthwhile. Or how about putting power outlets in the right places where there's a mirror? All these little things. Or maybe we don't need as many lights as you think we need. Because there's always going to be one that you can never turn off.
In
But you
there.
know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I
It's
totally understand.
guest experience.
Yes.
Guest experience to me is much more important than having fantastic drapes and all kinds of fancy dancy electronics to play with. So, I mean, whether I'm just kind of old fashioned or not, I don't know. But I just think the first thing you would do, when you're designing a hotel room is make it accessible for everybody. To say, right, where is the workplace going to be? Where's the power outlet? Can I plug in my laptop nearby? Or have I got enough, put in international plugs that will work without having to put in your own adapters. It's not difficult, is it? It's not rocket science. So, whether or not that could be, AI assisted, I don't know. I don't know. But it's going to be, in my opinion, quite difficult to try and replicate some kind without some kind of human interaction. I don't know.
I think that's very pragmatic. I mean, absolutely. I mean, and so many of us, you go to a fancy hotel and you can't find the right PowerPoint and it's not in the right place, and you want to just plug in your phone and they have the wrong one there. I've been there. Unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
They don't have USB ports or something, it's ridiculous. You can buy an adapter now.
exactly.
Why wouldn't you just put an adapter with 3 USB ports in it? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, but maybe they could have AI that would look at how the room is it clean enough? Is there anything that the housekeeping has forgotten? Stuff like that maybe would be good.
No, and that's actually a really good point. I mean, considering the relentless nature that you described and the constant pressure to deliver flawless service, what do you believe are the biggest operational headaches for luxury hotels and restaurants today that, if solved, would dramatically improve both staff morale and guest satisfaction? I'm thinking about the inefficiencies, the repetitive tasks, but also even like the things that we were just talking about with the PowerPoints. Currently pull staff away from providing the bespoke personal touch that you value so highly.
Mm. Well, I referenced just now that I think the hotel industry and restaurant industry is probably the only industry where you would put your your best VIP customer interfacing with someone who's on the lowest rung of the ladder. I mean, most people would protect that whole environment. You can't do that in a hotel or a restaurant because it may be just an odd comment given by someone in a corridor, would really upset someone who doesn't get the right kind of recognition. They would just as a simple good morning. Sometimes somebody, in housekeeping would ignore them. It's incredible. The jeopardy involved in all of this. You could lose a customer just because somebody didn't do something right. So I think it's more about relentlessly training people to understand what it's like not to have that kind of experience as a guest. Right. Even if throwing people in at the deep end in a restaurant, who have yeah, maybe it's a university graduate who's doing some stuff on the side. What do they know about service? Just throwing them in and letting them get on with it is a real mistake, and doesn't necessarily work very well. On the other hand, there are people that have this innate ability. Young students really push the boat out and do really nice service. But that's where it comes in selection.
The people who are the highest paid customers are the meaning with the lowest paid employees, and there's no it's kind of a strange interaction there. Your insights into the nuances of luxury service and the operational realities are really valuable. Looking at everything we've discussed, from the relentless pursuit of perfection to the potential, albeit limited, role of AI, if you had a magic wand that could fix just one thing in the luxury hospitality industry that would most significantly enhance the guest experience and ensure truly exceptional service, what would that one thing be?
Gosh, one thing. Dear, oh dear. Well, I guess just an ability to do the basic things properly. Simple as that, I think. You know, we as guests have certain expectations. You could have, the whole interiors looking unbelievable, okay? But if it's the basic necessities that we want, like clean towels or outlets in the right place, or a mirror like the hairdryer is. One thing my wife always looks at is, where's the hairdryer? Is there a mirror there? No, who thought that up? know, are we covering the bare necessities that people would like, just really to start with? We can always add on the bits and pieces afterwards. My best thing is, forget your star status, because I've been in one-star hotels that offer five-star service and five-star hotels that offer one-star service. I think that says it all, right? So
Very
we
much.
all expect, yeah. And by the way, while I'm at it, while I'm at it, I mean, I'm just again talking about things, but one of the things that really gets me is the notice that says, we really believe in conservancy and greenness and everything else in the bathroom. And, we would really like you to reuse your towels. Listen, if I'm paying $500 a night, I'm not interested, right? I don't care to save their bills on cleaning. I want a nice fluffy towel renewed every day. I'm just saying. I think but me being a cynic means, yeah, I'm helping you lower your costs as a hotel, to make me reuse my towel again.
Right. Well, I mean, you've noticed that lately they've replaced the amenities with just pump bottles in the shower.
I mean, as long as I'm getting the same type of toiletry, that's fine. How I get it, I don't mind. But if it means reusing the same bottle, that's fine. That's not a big deal. I can
Fair
live
enough.
with that.
Well, Andy, this was a really great conversation. Your passion for genuine service and your candid perspective on the industry are truly inspiring. And I want to thank you so much for joining us on
Thank
Leading
you.
in Luxury.
I'll be interested to see if anybody agrees or disagrees.
To our listeners, if you found Andy's insights as compelling as I did, be sure to subscribe to our channel and drop us a like. You can find more of Andy's incredible travel writing at tripreporter.co.uk, and we'll leave a link to his work and the Travel Talk Radio podcast in the description below. I'm Daniel Renna, and we'll see you next time.